That's John Cena golfing, right? Like that's what we're talking about, right? That's John Cena golfing.
That's Scottie Scheffler, right. But yeah, close enough. You couldn't see him. That's why it all happened.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Interest of the greater good for me to smoke a joint and calm down.
He'll fall an eight to prove that I'm great. And if he keeps talking jive, I'm going to cut it to 5.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Ville Chillin' Podcast. Today, we're talking on something we weren't even sure we was going to talk about, but we're talking about the PGA Tour. As more information, more videos come out, we just kind of felt the need to do it. As we try to just talk about the main things going on in the city. And it just hasn't stopped. And the reason for our delay is that we try to paint the city in the best light possible. And it wasn't a dark spot, but it hasn't been the best news for the city. And I guess those things just happen when you have a city as populous as Louisville. You know what I'm saying? Dude. Same things can be said about New York, LA, Chicago.
And the PGA is like really big too. So like
it
big
is,
deal,
man.
you know, especially after the Derby. Like,
and if anybody else had been arrested, it wouldn't have mattered.
And golf's like probably like my 5th favorite sport. So it's like really important. Like it's definitely on their top 10. Definitely. There we go. So it's important. You ever played golf before?
Putt. I've never swung a real golf club.
Dude, it was my backyard. I had Aircoys Park was like my backyard pretty much. So I'd be golfing sometimes. I did that.
Yeah. I don't think jumping a fence is counted as golfing. But
what I would do is I would sell them the golf balls.
That's probably smart.
Yeah, dude. Like,
it hit the woods, and I found it. Y'all need y'all need a reset.
Yeah, but I think they frowned upon it because I didn't really know how golf works. So like what would happen is like I'm over here like looking for golf balls and like they're hitting like in the like they about to hit like a hole in like probably like 3 or 4 and like I pick it up. I'm like, dude, I'm about and like I think I'm just getting them their golf ball. Like I was just picking it up and they were not happy. Like they were like, put it back, and I'm like, this one, you want this? And they're like, I'm about to get hit in the head and shit. I'm like 12, like so.
Yeah, they needed it to stay there so that they could get it back on the green.
Yeah, dude, it was like Happy Gilmore.
At least it didn't involve an alligator biting your hand off. If only we was back in Alabama, that might have been a thing.
Man, there was...
That was a good time.
There was definitely a crackhead, though, at Aircoys Park. I know, like...
there's always at least one.
Crack it out.
If you haven't figured it out yet, we're talking about the Louisville PGA Tour and the whole thing surrounding Scottie Scheffler's arrest. It has been
PGA Gate, right?
Yeah, PGA Gate.
Golf
I mean,
Gate.
it's as controversial as we're probably going to get in most ways and in most senses, because
like for the wrestling fans, I think that's like if John Cena got arrested, right? Is that what would have happened?
Only if the arresting officer scraped his knee.
And it wasn't.
But we'll get to that later.
It wasn't part of the storyline either, dude. Like,
we'll get to that later. Yeah. So I think we want to start out by showing footage of what actually happened, right? And I think an important thing to note is that initially there was no footage available, but
did he kick the car?
I mean, no, he hit it with his club, I guess, and it kind of ran up on his knee. I don't really know what happened. There's multiple videos, pictures, etc. of everything. But at the end of the day, the detective claimed that he was dragged by the car.
I mean,
and
if you look at it,
I have to disagree. Like
he ran into it, kind of like he did the Kool-Aid man, kind of like, hey yo.
The car Scottie Scheffler turns. He thought he was waved on. He turns.
It was just like
The officer runs at the car, pretty much knees it. Like you can see his knee come up. Do you see it right there?
Is that how he got the knee injury? Like he did knee it, right? Like trying to stop. Like did he try to stop it?
Right here at that.
Like,
see his jacket come up for that frame? That's only going to happen because his leg came up. You see that? And
back into the left. Back into the left.
And so I don't know, man. Like it's just kind of a wild thing. The claims that came out just don't make sense. I think is that initially came out. But as more things came out about it, like this footage was not originally available. And I want to go ahead and reinforce yet again, we run this show trying to paint Louisville, Kentucky. We want to stay in the spotlight. We try to focus on the tourist nature, the tourist aspect. We try to talk about all of the positive things.
And it's pretty easy
that
too.
Louisville has all.
Yeah, usually, we're talking about horses and
we've done
thunder
it,
and like the Derby, or like
we've done it
bourbon.
for like 2 years.
Pretty easy, yeah. Keep it.
We've
positive.
done it for 2 years. There's so many awesome things to talk about, but when this makes national attention, it's upsetting, and it makes our job a lot harder. And that's why we felt the need to talk about it. It makes our job harder because it's not like we're paid by the city or the government. I almost wish we were. We don't
make
get
us
paid.
go to Texas.
We don't get paid anything.
Daddy
for
Joe,
this.
bro. We'll edit that part out.
We don't get paid anything for this, and we just love our city. We have genuine love for our city. We hope that shows through the videos that we have done, and
and I think like with the media and stuff, I think one thing that's kind of like, yes, definitely LMPD could have, I guess, definitely they could have directed it differently, right? That's one thing. But the thing at the end of the day, like the reason that it all happened, I guess, and why there was such a backup in traffic is because one of the people that was directing it, unfortunately, John Mills, R.I.P., he passed away during that. So that's why there was so much confusion. The one action by that one officer, he. And I don't like it. That's why the traffic was acting the way it was.
Well, no, to your point, like the main thing is like somebody died on this day, and yet the national news attention was on Scheffler's arrest based on how it was conducted.
Definitely, yeah, it was.
We have no real opinion on all of it, other than it sucks that somebody died that day based on traffic and everything else. And it just sucks that Louisville was painted in the light that it was painted in.
Yeah, and I think it's two, and this is my opinion, I think it's two parts there. One individual at the LMPD who overreacted because of the confusion but at the end of the day, there's the traffic issues and kind of like logistics and development here in Louisville. We're usually prepared for bigger events like that because we have, between like Thunder and Derby and stuff. But I think, something like
once a traumatic
like that,
event happens,
there was no backup plan. So I mean, I think that's one of those things that
once a traumatic event happens, there's an impulsive reaction to everything that happens by the police force, which we're not saying is unreasonable. But
definitely an overreaction. I think they did agree on their end at the end of the day that there was, right.
At the end of the day, I
don't know if they said that, but with everything being dismissed and saying that nothing else is being pursued, I think that's
even if it wasn't said explicitly, it was said through actions. And just to expand further, I mean.
That's John Cena golfing, right? Like that's what we're talking about, right? That's John Cena golfing.
That's Scottie Scheffler, right. But yeah, close enough. You couldn't see him. That's why it all happened.
All white on white.
So Yeah, some of it's just been a little wild. I mean, it was the PGA Tour. It was national news. But the fact that it's been considered the most shocking day in golf history is kind of wild. And the only reason it was dubbed that is because it happened to be the number one player in the world that got arrested.
So wait, so that'd be like Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, but he was from here, and he was a civil activist. Scottie Scheffler's just trying to play golf.
I mean, that's good. Like, that's important. Like, a lot of golfers, like, a lot of people golf, like lawyers and judges and cops.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll probably have to rotate some of that out, too. Let's keep it going.
Anyways, ESPN
Did they
has
just get
our
a free
back.
sponsor on the YouTube?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Scottie Scheffler was arrested before PGA Championship round.
I call him Cheflon, dude. He's a
Here in
badass dude.
Louisville.
Like,
And again, he was stopped right outside, and you saw his video. You saw like pictures. It's everywhere. But what I think is really interesting, back to your point, Jack, the fact that charges were dropped, but not only were charges dropped, but the officer, the detective, who had no body cam on at the time, made a statement saying, I hold no ill will toward, Scottie Scheffler said, I hold no ill will toward Officer Gillis. I wish to put this incident behind me and move on, and I hope he will do the same. Police officers have a difficult job, and I hold them in high regard. This was a severe miscommunication and a chaotic situation. And there were statements by the county attorney. There were statements by Detective Gillis himself that kind of supported that exact same statement. But through the whole thing, Gillis maintained his situation that he was dragged by the vehicle.
zagged.
He received injuries to his wrist and knee, and it ripped his pants.
So what you're saying is like what he's saying is he got his ass kicked, right? I mean, by the car, right? Like I would think that means like ER visits. Like we were here talking about John Cena. Like he probably looked like he just had a match with John Cena, right? I mean, based on like the original report,
John
right?
Cena would have ripped his own shirt and pants off. Okay. Anyways, the thing is, Detective Gillis maintained that he has to buy those $80 pants himself. And while, yes, they might have been ripped, it's, I think the injuries are a little bit speculatory.
Okay, so they released him in this like.
But they were released weeks after the fact. I think that's important to know. Weeks after the fact. And I think these images came out like a week after Detective Gillis made his statement saying we're all good.
It was like just like
my daughter has scraped her knee harder than this on the playground.
It just looked like he forgot to put lotion on. Or
She's 5.
I don't even know, or like a rug burn. I don't even know.
She's 5.
Grown hair. I don't.
What's up, everybody? We just wanted to take a quick pause and say, if you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. Drop us a couple comments. Let us know what you like, what you don't, and let us know what you think about the video. And make sure to share out with your friends and family. It really helps us a lot.
Yeah, we're on every social media platform. We're on every podcast provider out there. So whenever you get a chance, just give us a like, give us a follow. We definitely appreciate it. It really helps us out.
And with that, we'll get right back to it.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, if we want to give him credit, his wrist looks a little bit worse.
I think that's where he punched the window. I mean,
That's exactly where he slammed
I'm
his
guessing.
thing.
Allegedly. Right.
I don't know, man. He originally described the injuries in the report as Detective Gillis was in the middle of the westbound lanes in full LMPD uniform and in a high visibility yellow reflective rain jacket. Detective Gillis stopped subject and attempted to give instructions. Subject refused to comply and accelerated forward, dragging Detective Gillis to the ground. We all saw the video at the beginning. I never saw him hit the ground. Detective Gillis suffered pain, swelling, and abrasions to his left wrist and knee. He was transported to the hospital for further medical treatment by emergency medical personnel.
I mean, it just seems like they're missing the sentence. Like, yes, I guess he went forward, and I don't know about the car drugging him, but like he ran into the car.
Detective Gillis's uniform pants, valued at approximately $80, were damaged beyond repair. I think if you need new pants, the number one golfer in the world can probably afford them. But,
dude, could you just imagine?
As this report says, these photos accurately describe what happened to Gillis based on the police report. However, the report also included Sergeant Jeremy Allen saying Gillis used tactically poor decision making by reaching into Scheffler's vehicle as it moved forward. Gillis suffered his injuries because he crossed the plane into the vehicle's passenger compartment. I just want to point out, that's not us saying it. That's a fellow officer.
Could you imagine if, like, they were dealing with, like, Happy Gilmore? Dude, I could just, like, imagine him, like, on top of the car, just, like, fucking...
There has to be alligators for that, dude.
Dude, one day.
They'll put a ball off of an alligator's nose, but it's just wild. It's such a wild, extravagant, and it's just a crazy story, man. Like, the fact that our city gets painted in this nationwide light is insane to me. And it's upsetting because we work so hard to highlight the best things about our city, the best things about our state. You know what I mean? And the fact that this gets brought to a nationwide attention so easily is upsetting.
It says $80 pants were beyond repair. What does that mean?
Well, his ass got ripped.
Like, what did they do?
Because he reached into a moving vehicle. And that's not my statement. That is the statement of fellow officer Sergeant Jeremy Allen. He used tactically poor decision making by reaching into Scheffler's vehicle as it moved forward, which is easily seen.
But how's it beyond repair? Like, did they take it to like a seamstress or some shit? Like, and they were like,
well, no, it can be sewed up, but he's gonna look like a dummy with sewed up pants. But do you see that? Like, he never once got dragged to the ground.
back and to the left.
Unless he fell right there as it's behind the vehicle because he jumped at it. Do you see that? I mean, he jumped at it, swinging at it. Like, I'm sorry, Gillis. Like, I have a massive respect for the police force when things make sense. But when your own fellow officers have something to say, like it was a tactically poor decision making, I don't know.
Get them next time, guys.
We can cut that out. But
no, leave it.
it just again, this whole channel, our entire endeavor is a 100% about trying to paint Kentucky and Louisville in the brightest light possible. We've talked about so many people born here, so many things that have happened here. We learn new, amazing things that have happened here every week. Every week, we bring up new things that have happened here, from the history of the Belle of Louisville, Edgar Casey, the Bernheim Forest Giants, so many things, concerts, community events. We talk about everything here in the best light possible. I think the one time that we haven't is when it came to the JCPS
The
bus
school
fiasco
buses, right?
last
That was the
year.
only time we ever kind of speak anything. And it's never negative as much as we just
That
want
was
to do
the
better.
first time. And again, yeah, it's not negative, and it's still not negative. I want to say that now. It's not negative, but we can do better. It's the same idea. We can do better. We know that this is not the norm. It's the exception to our city. But when things like this happen, it makes national news. And when it makes national news, it makes our job harder, because what we talk about definitely does not make national news. Right?
No, because
If it made national news, our job would be a lot easier. It does make everything harder.
hey, he still won though, right? He still won.
Scheffler, I don't even know, to be honest with you.
He did.
Like, I really don't know who won that round. I'm not a golf fan, but you know what I am? I'm a Louisville fan, and I'm here to talk about Louisville. I'm here to discuss Louisville, what's happening, the amazing things within our city, the amazing things that do happen, and unfortunately sometimes the sad things that happen.
Xander won.
And that, I didn't think it was him, but I didn't think it was Scheffler, but either way,
Scoffle? Xander Scoffle. Congratulations, dude.
I think we can all agree that it's just, anybody from Louisville is very upset about this situation happening the way it did. If you need more proof, just look at the Louisville subreddit. The Louisville subreddit says it all. If the news articles aren't saying it, the Louisville subreddit says it all.
Man.
And before we end
He was
off,
over here acting like his leg was about to get amputated and stuff. It was like,
the officer was.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Like,
no, Reddit was
yeah.
like, dude, let's see the pictures.
Yeah, exactly. And it's wild. And before we end off or go too much further, I just want to say again, it sucks that somebody else did lose their life on that day
R.I.P. John.
and got no news attention.
Yeah.
None.
Say it again.
I just want to
So
say
John.
again that somebody did lose their life that day and got no news attention. None at all.
Say his name. John Mills. R.I.P.
John Mills. R.I.P.
R.I.P. John Mills.
It's just crazy to me that, again, we've all seen the footage at this point, and it was blown so out of proportion, and yet somebody did lose their life that day. And this is the way our city responds. And it sucks. It sucks. Again, we spend week after week after week trying to talk Louisville up in the best light possible, talk about the highlights of the city, talk about the highlights of the state of Kentucky in general, so that we're not just a bourbon state. We're not just a flyover state. And then when we host something like this, it's wild. For things like this to happen.
Definitely a stain on my top 10 favorite sport and my first favorite city.
It's
Go golf.
it sucks, man. It sucks. It sucks. I don't know what else to say. I really don't. But again, RIP John Mills. It's wild that this has gone on for weeks and weeks. And again, going back to the beginning, we didn't even plan on doing an episode about this, but as news kept coming out, we just felt like we had to. Because we spend so much time talking about our beloved city, that we spend so much time researching and pouring our energy into for so much
I wanted
stuff.
to talk about the cicadas.
The cicadas.
Yeah, that was going to be the week. But here we are.
The cicadas.
R.I.P.
Which he said that wrong in a previous episode, too.
I said it right this time, though, right?
No, you didn't. You said cicadas. It's okay.
They're related.
Check out the Slugger episode to hear him say it wrong again.
Oh, because they're killing the bats. Like they're not like
they're killing
not the flying
trees.
bats, but the wooden bats.
The cicadas aren't, but something else is. Anyways,
R.I.P.
Jokes aside,
Oh, sorry.
it is upsetting. We really do care. We did not want to make this episode, but it seems more relevant now than ever as more things keep coming out. There's new footage that we didn't show. There's pictures that haven't been shown. We showed what was just quickly readily available and his initial statements, and it's upsetting, man, when you're trying to advocate for something so hard and then this comes up on national news when all the good that there is happening doesn't. It's upsetting. Do you have anything else you want to add that's relevant?
No, not at all. Go PGA Golf Gate.
I guess with that, we will see y'all next time.
They're off in the Kentucky Derby.
Interest of the greater good for me to smoke a joint and calm down.
I am the greatest. He'll fall an eight to prove that I'm great. And if he keeps talking jive, I'm going to cut it to five.